Have you ever felt like the friendships you once cherished have started to feel different? Maybe you've noticed fewer phone calls, fewer visits, conversations that feel more like obligations than genuine connection. Here's a thought that might surprise you. After the age of 70, you might not need friendships in the same way you once did. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually a sign of deep inner growth. In today's video, we're going to explore 6 eye-opening reasons why letting go of certain friendships can actually improve your peace of mind, your health, and your sense of self-worth after 70. This isn't about becoming a hermit or cutting everyone off. It's about understanding that you've earned the right to choose quality over quantity and to stop investing energy in relationships that no longer nourish your soul. So if you ever felt guilty for stepping back from social circles or question whether you become too solitary, stick with me. By the end of this video, you might realize that the freedom to walk away is actually one of the greatest gifts of growing older. Let's dive in. Number 1, you've entered the most honest chapter of your life. When you're young, friendships are often built around convenience, school, work, neighborhood events. But those friendships aren't always rooted in truth. There's pressure to fit in, to avoid rocking the boat, to agree even when you disagree. But after 70, that pressure disappears. You're finally free to be completely honest, and that includes admitting when a friendship has run its course. You no longer need to pretend. You don't have time for games, gossip, or small talk that goes nowhere. Take Janet, for example. At 73, she realized that most of her conversations with her old friend Sheila had turned into long-winded complaints. The connection they once had was gone. Instead of forcing herself to keep the friendship alive out of habit, Janet let go and felt instantly lighter. This stage of life gives you permission to live without masks. And sometimes that means walking away from people who no longer see you for who you truly are. Friendship should energize you, not exhaust you. And now, more than ever, you have the clarity to tell the difference. Number 2, emotional simplicity beats social obligation. As we get older, we start to realize that peace is more valuable than popularity. In our youth, social calendars were full, birthdays, reunions, club meetings. But often, those gatherings were more about showing up than truly connecting. Now, you get to choose emotional simplicity. And that often means stepping away from people who bring drama, demands, or emotional noise. You don't owe anyone your time or attention just because you've known them for decades. What you owe yourself is the right to feel calm in your own skin and in your own home. Consider George. He used to attend weekly coffee catch-ups with an old group of coworkers. But over time, the conversations became repetitive and negative. He dreaded those mornings. One day, he skipped it and never went back. Instead, he began spending the hour walking in the park, listening to jazz, or simply enjoying a quiet breakfast. And guess what? He felt happier. Peace is underrated. But after 70, it becomes your greatest asset. Number 3, loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. One of the biggest myths about aging is that being alone means being lonely. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Solitude is not loneliness. It's self-connection. Many seniors who intentionally reduce their social circles report feeling less stress, not more. Why? Because they've stopped chasing shallow connections and started embracing meaningful solitude. Solitude allows you to hear your own thoughts, to reconnect with long-lost hobbies, to breathe without the noise of others constantly pulling your attention. Eleanor, 76, used to worry that not having a best friend nearby made her life incomplete. But over time, she realized that her daily walks, her garden, her books, and her quiet evenings brought her more contentment than most conversations ever did. She wasn't lonely. She was finally living in rhythm with herself. Solitude gives you space to heal, reflect, and simply be. And that's something very few people allow themselves to experience. Number 4, the power to let go is a sign of strength. We often hear that friendships take effort, and they do. But what happens when you're the only one putting in that effort? When calls go unreturned? When visits are always rescheduled? When support feels one-sided? After 70, you gain the wisdom to stop chasing people who don't want to be caught. You realize that letting go is not a failure. It's a form of self-respect. Friendships aren't meant to be burdens. They're meant to be mutual, respectful, and nurturing. When you let go of friendships that feel forced, you create space for peace, for hobbies, for more aligned connections. Or maybe just for you. You've likely spent years showing up for others. Now is the time to show up for yourself. Number 5. Less drama means better health. Believe it or not, toxic or draining relationships can actually impact your physical health. Elevated stress levels, disrupted sleep, even blood pressure spikes. These can all be traced back to emotional tension caused by unhealthy social ties. But when you reduce the drama, your body responds. Your mind clears. Your spirit lightens. Rita, a retired nurse in her 80s, says the biggest change in her health came not from any medicine, but from cutting out a lifelong friend who constantly criticized her. Once I stopped answering her calls, she said, my headaches vanished. Your health isn't just about what you eat or how much you walk. It's also about who you let into your energy field. After 70, protecting your peace is a form of medicine. Number 6, you become your own best companion. Here's the most beautiful part. As you let go of unnecessary friendships, you discover someone you may have overlooked, yourself. You begin to realize that you are enough, that you can take yourself on a walk, enjoy a solo meal, laugh at your own thoughts, that your worth isn't determined by how many friends you have, but by how deeply you know yourself. The relationship you have with yourself becomes the most honest, the most consistent, and the most rewarding one of all. You've spent decades giving, nurturing, supporting others. Now, it's your turn. So, do you need friends after 70? Maybe not in the way the world once told you. You don't need a full calendar to live a full life. You don't need constant conversations to feel heard. And you certainly don't need anyone who makes you feel small, overlooked, or exhausted. What you need is freedom, peace, clarity, and above all, authentic connection, even if that connection is just with yourself. Letting go of outdated friendships isn't about loss. It's about liberation. You're not alone. You're becoming whole. And in this beautiful chapter life, that might just be the greatest gift of all.